The year is 2007. Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox star in a movie called Transformers. There was a particular car that was introduced in that movie. It goes by the name of Bumblebee. Now, it's not just any particular car. It's a car that was discontinued 8 years prior in the Generation 4. Now, that particular car is the Generation 5 Chevrolet Camaro, 2010 to 2015. In 2010, the Camaro was offered in two engines, a 3.6 liter V6 that put out 304 horsepower, and it was mounted to a 6-speed automatic or even a 6-speed manual, believe it or not. Now, in my opinion, if you're going to own a Camaro, a Mustang, a Dodge Charger, a Dodge Challenger, I think it's kind of sacrilegious. God would not like you guys having a Camaro in a V6. What engine did God want you to have in this Camaro? The V8, the Chevrolet Camaro SS. It was offered in both a 6-speed automatic or a 6-speed manual. However, if you got the 6-speed manual, you got the LS3, which put out 426 horsepower. If you got the 6-speed automatic, it put out 400 horsepower. Now, the other difference between the two engines is the active fuel management. What is active fuel management, you ask? Active fuel management is a system that deactivates 4 of the 8 cylinders to provide better fuel economy. However, a lot of guys don't like that system, and the reason being is the system relies on lifters. Certain lifters are active fuel management lifters, certain lifters are not. A lot of companies offer kits that delete those active fuel management lifters, and it becomes more of a reliable engine. The reason being is there's little oil galleries in the lifters that are active fuel management, and over time they get clogged up with, old oil. And then what do you get? Lifter failure. I'm telling you, lifter failure is not a good thing. Texas Speed is a company that delivers active fuel management delete kits. And not only does it give it more reliability to the engine, it also allows you to tune the engine better for more horsepower. The other difference between the manual and automatic Camaro SS was the rear end differential gearing was different. In the automatic, you got a low 327 gears, which was good for cruising. In the manual, you got a higher 345 gears, which is a better performing gears. Both models got 4-piston Brembo brakes up front. As for the tires, you got 245s in the front, 275s in the rear. This, in combination with the Zeta platform that the Camaro was based on, made it a really good handling car. The other thing that stands out for the Camaro was its halo headlights. That was, I'm telling you guys, that was what it was advertising, the halo headlights. This was so unique for Camaro. I remember back in 2010 when it came out, everyone was like, you got the halo headlights. Wow, cool. Now LED headlights are pretty common on cars, but back then, that was a new thing. Now, power-wise, if you compare this to competition, say the Ford Mustang GT, which was still rocking a 4.6 liter, 315 horsepower engine. The Camaro wipes the field with this car. The 2010 Mustang has no chance. It's more equivalent to a BMW M3 of the time, which put out 414 horsepower. However, the M3 was lighter, about 150 pounds lighter. But still, bang for buck, you can get a Chevrolet Camaro with a reliable LS3 V8 that has 426 horsepower. You can do anything to these cars. You could put a mild cam, long tube headers, a better gear ratio in the rear. And guess what? You're going to get a car that's pushing close to 500 horsepower in a Chevrolet Camaro. Now let's skip ahead. 2011. What changed for Chevrolet Camaro? Nothing much. The V6 got a little bit more power. Gone 304 horsepower. Now 312 horsepower. Now 2012. This was a game changer for the Chevrolet Camaro. Not only did it get a upgraded interior that looks more modern and nice, the Camaro ZL1 was introduced. Now you ask, what is the Camaro ZL1? Well, it's a fire-breathing dragon that scorches the earth behind it. It has 580 horsepower, 6.2 liter LSA supercharged V8, which makes burnouts for days. Guys, listen, this has 6-piston Brembo brakes, bigger tires now. You got 305s in the rear. Wow, those are monsters. You got a magnetic ride control, which, like the CTS-V, which I described in my last video, if you want to check it out, links in the bio, it adapts to bumps and corners like it's nothing. In addition, you got a vented hood that not only vented heat from the engine, but it vented air to go over the car, so you got better aerodynamics and better downforce. This car was offered in a 6-speed automatic and a 6-speed manual. If you got the manual, you got good 373 gears. The competition had nothing on the ZL1. Think about it. The only car that could compete with the ZL1, in my opinion, was the Shelby GT500. Now, the Shelby GT500 had a potent engine, 550 horsepower, but it wasn't 580 horsepower that the ZL1 had. Now, you got to remember this too. The ZL1 had a fully independent suspension and mag ride, like I mentioned. The Mustang had a live axle at this time, which means it wasn't that great of a handling car compared to a Camaro ZL1. Now, 2013. What did you get in 2013? You got a Camaro SS 1LE package. The 1LE means that you got the Camaro SS's LS3 fire-breathing V8 of an engine, but you got a better gear ratio. You got 391 gears. You got standard and only option a 6-speed manual. You got bigger tires. You got a 285 square stance, so that means 285s in the front, 285s in the rear. Goodyear Eagle F1 supercar tires, very sticky. You got a better suspension system. You got bigger brakes. You got a flat black hood. The whole reason of a flat black hood is that the sun doesn't reflect off your hood into your eyes when you're racing on a track. It was basically an SS on steroids. It was another track weapon that Chevrolet developed. You also got an aggressive, lion roaring dual mode exhaust. If you hear this car, you know it's coming. This car is a track weapon. Now you ask, Vincent, where can Chevrolet go from here in 2014? They make a crazy Camaro SS right off the bat. Then they make an even crazier Camaro ZL1. And then they make a track weapon Camaro SS 1LE package. Where does Chevrolet go from here? If I was Chevrolet, I would say the Z28. Now, what is the Z28? It's just a monster. Now, the Z28 is powered by the legendary LS7 7-liter V8, pushing out 505 bald eagles. Now, not only does it have the power, it has the stopping ability now. Now, new for the Camaro is carbon ceramic brakes, which means no brake fade. Braking power is unstoppable. You know that joke about Chuck Norris when he does push-ups? He doesn't push up, he pushes the world down. Well, the Camaro doesn't stop, it stops the world in its tracks. So now, you got a big, fast engine, you got good brakes, but you need the suspension. It has a race suspension, acronym DSSV, standing for Dynamic Suspension Spool Valve, made by Multimatic. Make a long story short about the suspension system setup, it basically is a race car suspension system. Now, just like the 1LE package you got with the SS, the Z28 had a square stance. However, the Z28 had bigger tires. 305s in the front, 305s in the rear. It's really sticky Pirelli P0 Trofeo R tires. You gotta remember, what else makes a good race car? lightness. By this time, the Chevrolet Camaro was using a navigation system. You didn't even get a navigation system with the Z28. You didn't even get the iconic halo headlights. You know why? We were trying to save weight. That's what Chevrolet would say. And they did it well. It was about 55 pounds lighter than an SS, which isn't significant, but it was 300 pounds lighter than the ZL1, which made it a really good track car. Now, the Z28 was one amazing track car. Everyone that reviewed this car when it came out in 2014 loved this car around a track. It was an LS7, which means if you wanted more horsepower to make up the weight that it had, even though it was a lighter Camaro, it wasn't light compared to, say, like a Porsche. However, put more horsepower, that makes up the lightness. You put long tube headers, you put a cam, you put a dyno tune on it, and guess what? You're getting a lot of horsepower, and that thing is flying. 2015, nothing changes. However, that was the end for the Camaro Generation 5. Although the Generation 5 Camaro, that was a game changer for Chevrolet, ended in 2015, the 2016 Camaro was even better, especially with the Alpha platform. The Alpha platform was lighter by about 200 pounds than the Zeta platform, and it had a more potent LT1 6.2 liter V8 that put out 455 horsepower. The Generation 5 Camaro SS was one legendary car that was on the walls of many boys, including myself. The spirit of an awesome sports car is a big engine up front, a manual transmission, and rear-wheel drive. Also, good brakes and good handling. And guess what? The Camaro checks all those boxes and some. The only issues that everyone complains about with the Generation 5 Camaro is visibility. They were hard to see out the front, the side, and the rear, so all around it was hard to see. In addition, the LSA engine that was found on the ZL1 was recalled because of supercharger rattle. However, General Motors replaced these superchargers. And that's everything I have to say about the Generation 5 Camaro. If you enjoyed this video, check out my last video I made on the Generation 3 Camaro. It's very interesting, and the link is in the bio. Alright everyone, take it easy and bye all.